got 300 seconds to go around the worlds of Disney and Universal here in episode 12 of Inside 300. I'm your host, Brian Perry. In our last episode, we had an altercation at Hollywood Studios that got people kicked out. In this episode, we have an altercation at Studios that got people kicked out again. Except it's Universal Studios. And we'll get to that in a second, but our first story has to do with a favorite restaurant at Disney World reopening. Everyone was excited at first, and now because of a glaring omission on the menu, everyone is in panic mode. So, without further delay, let's start the clock.
Ohana means family. Family means nobody
gets left behind.
Yeah, well, unless you're Disney characters or the legendary yakisoba noodles at the Ohana restaurant. One of Disney World's premier places to eat is Ohana at the Polynesian Resort, and fans of the dining experience got great news this week when it was announced that the establishment would finally reopen next month. Bookings are officially available today, while the restaurant opens on July 9th, but that ecstasy and joy shared through the Disney community quickly turned to panic and devastation as it was revealed that Ohana's famous noodles may be left off the menu. Not to mention Lilo and Stitch would not be making their regular appearances in the morning. Social media went ablaze. Just take a look at this. As for the characters, Disney is still adjusting their entertainment department, though Tusker House is set to open this month and characters are supposedly coming along, so we'll see. A group of teenagers have been banned from Islands of Adventure over at Universal Studios Orlando after thinking it was a good idea to throw cups of ice at a fully loaded Velocicoaster while the train was traveling at high speeds near the Mosasaurus Roll. Inside the Magic spoke with Kelly, who was at Islands of Adventure at the time and was one of the guests who was actually hit by the ice when a piece ricocheted off of the train, hitting her and others in the queue line. Here's what she had to say. There was an obnoxious group of teenagers, clearly on a graduation trip, as indicated by the purple backpacks that several of them had. All of a sudden, in a coordinated effort, they threw large cups of ice as hard as they could, directly hitting a fully loaded coaster car. The sound it made was terrifying. Ice flew back, hitting myself, my daughter, and several people in line near us. At the time, Universal has not issued a statement regarding the ridiculous, absurd, and, quite frankly, asinine situation. The sky is blue, water is wet, and the Disney Skyliner has crashed again. It was just another June day in Orlando when, for the second time in 2 months, witnesses caught a gondola colliding with another gondola, but hooray, this time there was no broken glass. Guests like Arundel Kell on TikTok were stuck in excess of 30 minutes high above the Florida ground before being handed $25 gift cards for their troubles. The Skyliner has been no short of troublesome since opening in 2019. I personally love the ride, but when accidents don't seem too surprising, it's cause for concern. Maybe Disney could just make everyone's dreams come true and throw a few slabs of concrete track together, connect the monorail to Studios and Animal Kingdom, and call it a day. Yeah, it's a stretch, but I'm holding out hope. They're mischievously delicious. Look, I have no shame in saying that Lucky Charms are still my favorite cereal. General Mills is launching a temporary rebrand of the breakfast delicacy in honor of the Disney Plus series Loki, which premiered yesterday. Replacing the famous leprechaun is the MCU trickster in what is now being called Loki Charms. Yes, see, this is the content I live for. Inside the Magic writer John Mangan wrote about it on our website. The quote that stuck out to me was, "Now the MCU is crossing over with a balanced breakfast. Perfectly balanced."
As all things should be.
Loki Charms can be ordered by visiting mischievouslydelicious.com. When it comes to Disney characters and their famous shoes, many fans immediately think of Cinderella, and rightfully so. But it's not Cindy's shoes that fans are connecting to Kanye West, but the shoes of the big cheese himself, Mickey Mouse. After the rapper achieved critical acclaim during his early years with albums like Late Registration and Graduation, he turned to fashion in his next pursuit. That included an internship at Fendi and ultimately the launch of his extremely successful Yeezy clothing brand. All that to lead to this. The Yeezy Knit R&R in Case Power Yellow. Yeah, looks familiar. I agree. The shoe is set to release either at the end of 2021 or early next year. It kind of looks like a sock, but knowing how these things usually pan out, I'm sure it'll sell millions. No word on if Mickey is planning on suing for copyright infringement. John Boyega aka
FN 2187.
of the polarizing Disney Star Wars sequels, walked off the set of his new Netflix project, Rebel Ridge. Netflix stated Rebel Ridge is pausing temporarily as we look to recast John Boyega, who needed to leave the project for family reasons. The film is described as a deeply human yet high-velocity thriller that explores systematic American injustice in the context of bone-breaking action. Boyega has been quiet on social media about the news, but is receiving whispers of potential Emmy nominations for his role in the Amazon Prime series Small Axe. We wish him all the best.
That's going to do it for Inside 300 on this June the 10th, 2021. If you like what you saw, be sure to subscribe and click that bell icon in order to be notified every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday morning when we come to you with new episodes. I'm your host, Brian Perry, and as always,
Bye-bye.